Song just play now, Unfriend That Person. A classic is defined by its evergreen nature and the fact that everyone who is someone should know it. That was Whenever, Wherever by Shakira. It's a breakout song. It's how we got introduced to her before she got into the football side of things, if you know what I mean. But welcome back. We're having conversations that matter because that is what Nigeria Info claims that it does. We'll get towards talking for development. And for this hour, I think this has to be the biggest conversation out of River State at this time. It is the River State Executive Council cancelling the 134 billion Naira contract awarded for the renovation, electrofitting, and furnishing of the State Secretariat complex. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Works, Dr. Austin Ezekiel Hart, confirmed this to Nigeria Info after a council meeting at the Government House in Port Harcourt on Thursday. He says the council also directed the contractors, CCECC, to refund the 20 billion Naira already paid as mobilization.
The Executive Council approved the cancellation of the contract of the renovation, retrofitting, and furnishing of the River State Secretariat complex, and also directed the refund of 20 billion Naira paid as mobilization to the contractors.
Well, Dr. Ezekiel Hart also said the council approved the revalidation of the bidding process for the 4 contracts advertised on February 19, 2025. You recall that in May of 2025, the then sole administrator, retired Vice Admiral Bokete Ibas, announced the award of the renovation contract after a House of Representatives ad hoc committee described parts of the Secretariat as worse than Gaza and ordered civil servants to evacuate. Well, it's nice that we're having these conversations because it's the Secretariat right here in the state. But to help answer the pressing questions, of course, from a professional perspective, is architect Toku Fiberesima, the chairman of Nigerian Institute of Architects, River State Chapter. Good day, Architect Toku. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, Sam. It's nice to be here again.
Yes,
good
indeed.
Afternoon, listeners. Too.
It is nice to see you. How have you been?
Well, so far, so good.
The good thing is we're all in River State. So even though you might have different personal experiences, there is a collective experience of just coming out of a state of emergency.
Yes.
So let me ask, how is post-emergency?
I think we're all very glad that we're all out of that quagmire. It wasn't something that was foreseen, yeah. So we're out of it. We thank God. We're back to normal.
Okay.
In River State again.
That's amazing. So what's your take on the cancellation of the contract and the demand for the refund? Before we get into the provisions of standards and all of that, what did you think when you heard this headline?
First, I didn't even think the sole administrator should have given out such a contract in the first place. You know, that's a contract that will require a lot of processes.
Okay.
A lot of it. And for a 6-month program that he came to do, I didn't think it was proper for him to give out that kind of contract. Look after basic things, yes. But a contract that was in that magnitude, I think it will, even when I heard it, even before it was cancelled, I thought something, they have to look at it again. Yeah, we have to look at it again.
Okay, so a lot of times when, contracts are awarded and the figure is in the public domain, some people tend to say it's too expensive.
It's too expensive.
Even though we don't know how much is rod and block and all of that, but we kind of feel that the amount is on the high side. So for a project of this scale, and I'm glad the report clearly tells what the scale is, renovation, electrofitting, and furnishing.
Yeah.
Does 134 billion Naira seem like a reasonable cost, or does it raise red flags?
Okay. First, what do we want to do? It's not the figure. Sometimes when people look at figures, they begin to worry. Personally, I don't think it's too much for a contract of that nature. Because if you know the State Secretariat, you have about 7 very big buildings there, and they all need renovation.
Okay.
All of them. Yeah. So if you divide 135 by 7, you will see that each building, the figure for each building is not so much. And then there's still the grounds, external works to do, to get it back to what it should be. So for me, the cost is not an issue. Yeah, it's not an issue, which is why we're even worried. Because for you to have a cost like that, it must have gone through a process, which is the due process. Yeah, it must have gone through a process. Was that process followed before we even begin to worry about cost?
Okay. So I'm glad you brought that up. What is this process? How many steps are in the process? How long should this process take for a project? At least we know the Secretariat. So a project of that magnitude.
I don't think it would be nice to take it as how many steps.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because before the emergency rule, I'm aware that the governor wanted to renovate the state secretariat.
That's public knowledge.
It's public knowledge.
Yeah.
And then not just public, we are in the business. So we'll know. Yeah. And then they started the due process for that renovation at the time. And then not long after, we had the state of emergency. So when you say process for renovation and all that, it starts with planning, starts with the professionals doing their planning, drawings, before the costs component will come in.
Yeah.
And then that is one phase of the planning.
Okay.
Before we now go into advertising the job. If you want it to be for open bidding, you now have to advertise the job. And then contractors will bid for the job. That will take some time. Usually, when they advertise on the media, they say in 6 weeks or in 8 weeks or in 3 months, whatever. Yeah, after contractors have submitted their papers, their bids, then it will be opened openly. Everybody will know this is the contractor that has been selected. There's also the closed bidding, in which case, in a situation like this, 135 billion is plenty of money.
It is.
So you can ask, so that you don't waste your time, you can ask specific contractors to bid for that job.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4 of you bid for this job, so that you don't bring in everybody. Yeah, and then you choose from that pool who will do the job. Now, this is where procurement comes in, the Procurement Act and all that. These are processes that you must follow before contract is given out. Now, did we follow those processes? I don't know. That is what we will need to, we'll see as time goes on. We'll see those kind of situations.
Okay. Now, Architect Toku, while you are the expert in this field,
Yes.
the business of estimation is one that is deployed to a great degree with the execution of contracts.
Yeah.
And I say this to respond to, when you said we should not focus on money. While I understand, cost of materials and all of that. But no matter who it is, private or public, whether it's government or businessman who has a project, he wants to at least have an idea of an estimate. Yes, you can't give me down to the last kobo, but I should know that there's a range. I think the quantity surveyor is usually responsible for
doing the costing. Yeah.
So, if there can be such a thing as estimation, then there can be such a thing as too much money for a contract.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because there can be an estimation.
Yes.
So, there can also be a question along the lines of, is 135 billion too much? Because I know that, and sorry, I'm stretching the
No, go ahead.
question. Sometimes you hear people say, and these are for regular contracts that are, within reach to us. They say it depends on where you want to buy wire.
Yeah.
Foreign wire is like this, and look ahead. So sometimes the materials and their make and all of that would impact on.
The cost.
So while you might not be able to do that on the spot, there can be an assessment as to if that amount is too much for that project.
Again, like I said, I didn't want to go into cost in detail.
Sorry.
But I'll let me try and break it down for you. You know, sometimes it's easier when you know what is involved.
True.
There are materials in that state secretariat that will require foreign procurement.
Okay.
Yeah? And we know how much the dollar is today.
Yeah.
Yeah? So, I know the secretariat very well. I know that the lifts in the secretariat, I'm sure a lot of them are not working.
True.
You need to replace those lifts.
Yeah.
One building takes 3-4 lifts. Yeah? So to procure those things, they are not cheap. They're not cheap. So when you begin to procure things in foreign exchange, for me, cost now becomes, something that you cannot really put your hand on.
Yeah. Okay. So for that due process, time, just like cost, is also relative.
Very, very.
Because it could be shorter for some, it could be longer for others. Is it possible to look at the shortest possible time? Because if that is possible, then we might not fault the administrator too much by saying you were here for a 6-month program and you were awarding this kind of contract. So if the time can also be compressed to the time frame that he had in office, and this is away from his jurisdiction, whether or not he had the power. We're just talking about the capability of executing while he was there. Would it have been feasible for a 6-month program to at least have initiated something on that contract?
I think so. Like I said before, the governor was already on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not starting from scratch. So in 6 months' time, as a sole administrator, yes, you can start a project. Yeah. The problem that I see in a situation like this is a project like that should not be for a 6-month program administrator. Yeah. You need somebody that is on ground that will follow up, because somebody has to be paying for the project to continue to roll. So you need somebody that is, even the governor, really, I remember vividly where he was even saying this secretariat complex, to renovate it in 4 years might not even be enough. Do you understand? Now you have come for 6 months. If you ask me, I would have said, if there's nothing else to it, why don't you leave it for the governor, since he's coming in anyway?
Yeah.
Because it was even towards the end of the 6th month that contract was awarded. And people like us in the industry, we didn't even know about it, that this contract has been awarded.
At least you should have heard something.
We should have heard something. Now the thing has been awarded, and it's causing a lot of, forward and backward now.
So if I were to break down what you said in power terms, being Nigerian, this is not a project of NEPA, it's a project of solar. Because NEPA will take lights and bring it. But sun will always shine to charge the inverter.
And you always have
that.
You need that consistency for a project like that to be done in that record time, where time comes in.
All right. We'll take a break now, and when we return, we'll talk about the demand for a Info, Sam Chinedu here. The words and voice of the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Works, Dr. Austin Ezekiel Hart, confirming to Nigeria Info after the council meeting that the contract of 134 billion Naira has been cancelled by the River State Executive Council. My guest, architect Toku Fiberesima, who's the chairman of Nigerian Institute of Architects, River State chapter, is still right here with me. You're welcome once again, sir.
Thank you very much, Sam.
All right, coming up shortly, we'll be talking about the mobilization fee, the demand for its refund, and the quota that should be for that kind of fee. But we'd like to hear from you. My questions are simple. What's your take on this cancellation? Is it a demand for accountability, or maybe it's politics, or possibly a blend of both? 0817 923 0002. 0817 923 0003. WhatsApp is 080 903 06416. Well, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Nigeria Info PH. You can watch, listen, and engage. Please turn off your radio as you call. And Godwin from Chinda is bewildered how renovating the State Secretariat could almost equal the construction of the Port Harcourt Ring Road project that traverses 6 local government areas with several flyovers. I'm still bewildered. Okay, and that's from Godwin from Chinda on WhatsApp. Good day, Sam. The cancellation of River State Secretariat contract is in order because Ibas was here illegally to restore peace, according to the president, and not to award contracts. Onyishi Ejiofor from Mile 3 says 0817 923 0002. 0817 923 0003. Please turn off your radio as you call. A message on WhatsApp reads, good evening. Okay, that's from Chinemerem Chukuma. And this one says, cancellation or termination of contract comes at a cost to the government. The people may have already borne administrative and consultancy expensive. I believe the company will seek arbitration or legal redress in court. I suggest the lift this time should be solar powered. Ami for Ernest says. And George Hillary says, welcome to Nigeria, where every illegality happens. And those are messages on Facebook. Madam Dota calls from Gokana. Good evening, Madam Dota.
Good day, Sam.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes, listening to the guest, he kept emphasizing on 6 months, which was the period for his own administrator.
That's right.
So I want to ask, what happened to what we used to hear in government that they have continuity? And I remember that the governor has stayed for barely 2 years, almost 2 years, or about that, before he went on the suspension. And nothing happened. And the last I checked, the governor has been in that secretariat since he started work. And I know that secretariat used to be lively long before now when we were in school. And the governor has been there. And the place went down that way and he became governor. Spent 1 year, spent 2 years. And the secretariat was going down and down and down to the extent that outside people have to fetch water to carry up to 7th floor before people can go there. No lift. Nothing was working, and nothing happened. And then the people from the National Assembly came and told us that the place was more than Gaza. Sam, I want to say that politics plus the other one you have mentioned is what is at play here. Yes, what I thought could be that the governor, this man has come, he has started something, contractors, what and what did you agree? Let's talk. So that the job can continue or the job can start if they have not started. But no. And everybody who wants to talk will say, 6 months. 6 months. 6 months is a period of time and continuity will come from there. That's my view.
All right, Madam Data, let me respond a bit. And I'm not countering what you're saying, but, looking to maybe get a better understanding myself. Now, while government is a continuum, different leaders have policy directions. Do you agree?
Sure.
Now, let me give an example, and I'm glad that this is a River State example. I'm sure you were here in this state when Amechi did what he did with public schools. Were you?
I was here.
Good.
I'm here.
When the next governor came in, Nyesom Wike, who's the FCT minister, we know for a fact that those schools were neglected, at least to the standard that Amechi took them to. So how would you connect that to government being a continuum?
No, we're talking about individual and priority.
Exactly. So it always comes to play.
Our state secretariat. This state secretariat is for all of us. Whether you are building school in your village or in another person's village, I can come and say, okay, that one in your village, I will not start it. Maybe somebody else will continue with you. It's still part of what we should do.
I agree. And the public schools are for all of us as well. So while it's not a question of which is more important, it's about continuity. God's power from Rumudara. I lost that call. Ezeken from Ubimini. Hello, Ezeken.
Good evening once more, Mr. SOC.
Good evening.
Greetings to your guest.
Thank you, sir.
SOC, the disapproval or withdrawal or suspension of the contract is not only politics, but a necessity. Because this administrator only did what he did. Immediately, his 6 months is yet to be elapsed. I don't know if you get me. So for him to award that contract politically, I believe that our governor has also used his initiative and diplomacy to withdraw the contract. So it is the necessity for him, and it is necessary for him to suspend that contract. Mr. SOC, I want to let you know that what Mr. Abbas did was not constitutional because we are still running democracy in Nigeria. So an undemocratic government would not come to be awarded contracts while he was assigned to take few responsibility in government until the elapse of the 6 months. But he overdue, he overworked and overreacted because of the position he sees himself. Therefore, the governor has the right and every immunity to do whatever thing that was unconstitutional during the era. Thank you very much. Yes, they can. Call it from movement.
Well, as I can, if it's about the power, of course, the governor does reserve the right to do that. Our questions are around the motive behind the action. Braid calls from Port Harcourt. Hello, Braid. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Sam.
Good evening.
And also, architect, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, my name is Chief Convict. I am Braid. Yes, the governor, looking at the contract that has been awarded, for me, is a good step in the right direction, because I believe that contract is not made public before awarding it. And also, yes, government is continuity. In the time of the former administration, the former governor, Rotimi Chibika Amechi, set up River State Road Management Authority. The governor came in and he disbanded it. And also, RSSDA was set up. He came in and he disbanded them. The monorail was also in process. As a council, he abandoned it. So there is no any cause for alarm if the governor didn't fit that this project that was awarded cannot stand the test of time.
Okay.
Because in due time, I believe that the governor will come out to tell us what is really underneath that makes him to cancel this project.
All right, Braid. Thank you very much. I have others waiting, and I have to get back to the guests. Let's run through messages very quickly. Oracle, for me, the return of the fund is necessary because no due process from the beginning. Even the emergence of IBAS is not due process. So anything returned during the emergency rule is in order. Engineer Emidim from Port Harcourt says, cancellation or termination of contract comes at a cost to the government. The people may have already borne administrative. I think of taking this message on Facebook. We need more updates why they cancelled the contract. Thank God, Ability Atuebu says. Clinton calls from Bori. Good evening, Clinton.
Samarako, good evening.
Good evening.
Let's let them abroad not be a reason why the governor decided to cancel or terminate this particular contract. And I think he also owes Rivers people reasons, explanations, because when you cancel a contract, there are fines attached to it, because terms have been signed, documents have been signed between parties. So you are the one breaching that terms now, unless the contractor failed in one of the clauses of the document of the contract. Having said that, I also want the governor, because there are a lot of projects lying fallow in the state. Monies have been earmarked for it, released for it, and yet the projects are nothing has been done. I think that the governor should also be proactive in other areas, not just that of the Secretariat, and ensure that monies that were earmarked and released are accounted for going forward. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. We speak to God's Power and then get back to the guest. Hello, God's Power. Good evening.
Yeah. Good evening, my brother Sam.
Good evening.
Yes, I am God's Power.
Go ahead.
Sam, given the controversy surrounding the contract award and the government stance of cancel it, the demand for the 20 billion mobilization fee might be subject to scrutiny and potential dispute. Sam, what if the contract was awarded under the emergency decree? Sam, what is the agreement between the contractor and the government when this contract was awarded? Yet I'm happy that the governor has taken that decision and all that. But there's something that is of concern to me. As Secretariat, for it to be reconstructed and rehabilitated, people that are working in it must be provided with an alternative place to work. It has been captured because I don't hear your guests discuss about that. Where will they go and work? Where will they be taken to for their work while the construction is going on? All this should be put into consideration. Thank you, Ademana Ibagospower.
All right, Gospar. There's a lot my guests will have to respond to. I don't remember asking him that particular question. Before I ask the next question, do you have any responses to any perspective of any of the callers?
Okay, let me take the last one. Where will people work when the project starts? That is where the process and procurement things come in.
Okay.
Because it has to be phased. You can take Block A, for example, while people move from Block A, maybe find their way in Block B while you're renovating Block A. And then you go on step by step until you do all that. Okay. That is all the processes we're talking about. And then the first lady, the woman that spoke first, Madam Dota, she mentioned continuity. Yeah. There's continuity. The governor was there for 2 years. And the way procurement work, this public procurement, you can't, 2 years, in project life, sometimes in planning, 2 years might not even be enough. I'm telling you, in a project like that, if you know the state secretariat, 2 years might not even be enough to plan it properly, to execute it, and get a proper company to do the project. Now, coming down to the financial aspect, like I said, I don't know what is in the contract. Yeah? I don't know what lines. If you go line by line, we'll begin to know. There was one time something happened and they said CCTV was so much money. And then we're all like, that's plenty of money. Yeah. Because we know what CCTV is. Yeah. But in this case now, retrofitting the state secretariat, you really can't say until we see the details of the contract. Yeah. Then we'll begin to say, only lift cannot be so much money. Yeah. But truthfully, the way Nigerian money is now, 135 billion, it sounds like a lot of money. But when you begin to deploy it in projects, you'll find out that, it is just enough.
Okay. So there has been a demand for the refund of the 20 billion Naira mobilization.
Yeah.
Mobilization is paid immediately after contract is signed for the purpose of mobilization, right? And this figure compared to the 135, is there a standard quota for how much a company should get for mobilization. You know, that would help us make sense of why it's 20 billion, why it's not less, or why shouldn't it have been more. So how does mobilization work?
Okay. Please permit me to just go back a bit.
Okay.
Let's start it like this. Does the governor have the power to cancel that contract? Yes.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Yeah.
Whether it is properly executed or not. That one, you can begin to fight that later on. Yeah. The company can go for arbitration. They can go to court and say, we were given the proper contract and you cancelled it. Some penalties may be paid.
Yeah.
Okay. Mobilizations in a situation like that sometimes goes up to 30%.
Okay.
Of the total cost.
Okay.
They can give you 30%. The idea is so that you can quickly mobilize your men and materials to site.
Yeah.
And then don't hold us, you know, for anything until we know that you're on site working. Now, one of the cardinals of that due process is that a bank should give a guarantee for that mobilization. So that if we pay you and you don't mobilize, we can hold the bank responsible.
Okay. So some kind of insurance.
Some kind of insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that is in place. Now, I don't know if that is in place. If it is, then the government, after cancelling the contract, will write to the bank and say, we need our money back because due process was not followed. The issue of time and continuity and all that comes down to due process at the end of the day. If you don't follow due process, a lot will go wrong as you go along. And I don't want to, when people say politics, I don't want to attribute it to politics. Maybe civil service politics. Maybe. Because civil servants are there to checkmate some of these things.
Okay.
So if you have gone through all of that and you have paid mobilization and you didn't go through the process, then the governor can hold civil servants responsible. It has nothing to do with anybody. I don't want to go to who is, you know, whether it is illegal or not legal. I know, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know those details. Yeah. Mine is, there's a project to be done.
Yeah.
Was due process followed? If it wasn't followed, the governor has the right to cancel the contract and ask for a refund. And if we don't get the refund, he can go to court. If a bank guaranteed that sum of money, then he can write to the bank and say, we need our money back. Because nobody would have, hopefully, nobody would have spent 20 billion in this short time.
You'll be shocked.
I'm telling you.
You'll be shocked. I've seen documentaries where people buy islands in different parts of the world.
Well, the money was not given to you to go and buy an island.
Well, you say nobody would have. I'm telling you ways that...
Well, I'm talking about projects now.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. If you have been given 20 billion as mobilization fee, how long ago? 1 month ago? I mean, you should still have, if there was a guarantee from the bank, then you should still have a lot of money, because that guarantee means that when you go to the bank to say, I need 1 billion, the bank will want to make sure, what do you need the 1 billion for? I want to move equipments to Secretariat. Okay, we'll put somebody with you to move those equipments to Secretariat.
Okay.
But if there was no guarantee from any bank, then again, we begin to look at, something not very right.
So I'm pretending not to know with this particular question. What is the evidence of mobilization? What would we see to know that mobilization has started?
That's the same thing I just said. Yeah. 20 billion is for mobilizing men and material.
Okay, men and material.
Yes.
So you see that physically on site?
On site.
Okay.
They will have come with their cranes.
Okay.
They will be coming with materials. They will want to build, where materials will stay, where workers will stay. You will begin to see activity.
Okay.
Like one caller said, you'll also begin to see where people are moving away from Block A to Block B.
Okay.
Because we want to renovate Block A.
No, like I said, of course, we know. But, you know, sometimes you ask questions and when they answer, they say, no, mobilization is happening. You might not see it, but
No,
we are seeing it.
no, no.
So
You will
this one,
see it.
everybody will see it.
You will see it.
Okay.
Once you have been mobilized, you will see it because everything will be in place. So you're mobilizing for the work.
Okay.
Your materials, your men, your equipment will come to site with that money.
All right. So I'll be able to take just one call. Okay, I have messages here. So let's do justice to that. The contract awarded by IBAS is politically motivated. Confidence, Lebedim from Ozuzwe Chase says, it's rather pathetic that most callers asking the governor to match words with action were the same people who glorify the emergency rule. Kelly from Port Harcourt. Good evening, Oracle. This one, the governor terminated the contract. What if the people spearheading the contract collect some money? How would they balance it now that the governor said they should refund the money? Well, you heard my guest about the role of the bank in all of this. Good afternoon, Sam. The pertinent question is, why should the contract be terminated? The Secretariat is a vital project. It ought to be given speed and attention. Ipalibo Taylor Harry says. And the next comment, which is the last one, I've never seen anywhere in the world where a contract has been awarded without timelines for each of the deliverables, engineering, design, sign of contract, procurement, mobilization, and construction activities, and demobilization with milestone payments without being read for the public. You didn't give your name, but you give your thoughts. I can vividly remember that a renovation of the Secretariat was recommended by the group that visited the Secretariat from National Assembly, and that was towards the end of the 6th month. Mobilizing a contractor at the point of exit with that sum is not sensible. Mrs. Divine from Bowery. Okay, I'll take this one call as we wrap it up. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Sam.
Evening, what's your name?
Good evening to your guest. Matthias calling you from Noah University.
Go ahead, Matthias. You're my final caller.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Quickly.
What I want to say is this. I don't know why some people will come on air and talk as if they hate someone and like the other person. If people are feeling as if the governor does not have the power to cancel the contract, how did they feel that the above who come to the River State for 6 months will award contract a few months or a few days to go? That will tell you that the due process will not be followed. So if people, they don't like the governor of the River State, they should also remember that it was Nyesom Wike who bring the governor. If you like the Oga, why you not like the boy? So we should not mind the way we come on air and talk as if we have a hatred for someone and we like the other person.
All right.
They are all the same people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matthias. All right, Architect Toku. So now that we are at the end of this conversation, what's the way forward? What's the most reasonable and sustainable resolution to all of this?
Okay, you know, we don't know the reasons. We have not been given reasons.
There are lots of variables.
There are a lot of variables.
Yeah.
It could have been anything. And like I said, the governor has the right. He may have something else in mind for the Secretariat, not just renovating and retrofitting and all that. He may have something else in mind. He is a governor, so he decides what to do. I think he has terminated the contract. There's nothing anybody can do about that. The contractors, I'm even shocked, because ECC, they are big contractors. Yeah, I'm a bit worried that they will be involved in this, non-procedural business. They should know better. Yeah, but be it as it may, they can. Somebody said, "How do we get our monies back?" You can go to the governor and say, "Okay, we got 20 billion. We have bought this, and we have spent this amount of money to do this. So we can't refund this much. This is the much we can refund."
Okay.
I think it's just
some reconciliation
kind of thing, yeah. But if they got their contract with due process, they can seek redress.
Okay.
And the government will be forced to part with some money for them.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Architect Toku. It's always wonderful doing this with you.
Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you.
Speaking with you, it has felt like time has not passed because
telling you.
we used to do this weekly.
Weekly.
Have yourself a wonderful day, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sam. You too.
Coming up at 5 is the news update after Touch Education with a touch of mobilization. That's my new favorite word. Stay with us.